Welcome on board Karan Taurani, who's joining us from Elara Capital to talk to us about what's happening in the Alcobev industry, because a lot of headlines going around, Karan. The latest one being that Pernod Ricard might be looking at selling Imperial Blue for 5,000 crore rupees. What do you make of this development if it holds true, and what about the valuations of it?
Hi, Anisha. Good afternoon. So I think if you look at this segment, the low prestige segment has been seeing pressure in the recent past. We are not seeing growth rates of more than 2 to 4% in this category, and maybe that is kind of leading to this kind of a sale, by Pernod, if at all these media reports were to be true. Now, as far as valuations are concerned, our assessment is that this segment is about 100 million cases, out of which, of course, 20 million cases is by Imperial Blue by Pernod. And generally, the realizations in this segment is about 1,500 per case. So, basis that, the revenue is about 3,000 crores, which could potentially grow at about 4 to 6%, assuming some kind of minimal price hike and the volume growth, which I was talking about 2 to 4%. And basis that, you could reach a revenue number of somewhere around 3,500 crores, which means that potentially this is at 1.5 to 1.6 times sales as far as valuation is concerned in terms of the ask price of 5,000 crores. But I think getting this kind of a price also will be a challenge, because this segment not only has got volume pressure, this segment also has margin pressure. So if you look at the EBITDA margins as well, the EBITDA margins have kind of come down substantially to high single digit to low double digit as per our assessment. So I think tough times in terms of the low prestige segment, and the upper prestige, mid prestige, the luxury segment. I think these are segments which are doing phenomenally well right now, and that's why maybe Pernod is trying to defocus from here.
So, Karan, as you were mentioning that there has been not much of a growth that we have seen when it comes to the low prestige segment, also given the fact that all the listed players are now focusing more on the premium segment given the high margins. Do you think or who do you think would be a suitable buyer for this Imperial Blue?
So I think in terms of potential buyer, it could work out either ways. There could be some MNC who would want to enter into India, or maybe acquire this. That's one probability. Second would be there are multiple local companies. There is John Distilleries, there is Inbrew who might want to make some kind of inroads. We don't foresee Radico, making inroads, via Imperial Blue, because they already have a brand 8PM Black in this segment. There could also be the likes of Piccadilly Agro, which is Indri. So any of these players who really want to scale up, because 20 million cases is not a small number in terms of volumes. Overall whiskey volumes in India are not more than about 250 to 270 million cases. So it is 10% market share in terms of overall whiskey volume. So I think anybody who want to make inroads in this would like to kind of have a stake in this segment, or probably scale up from the current levels. As far as the competitors are concerned, now the competitors in this segment are 8PM Black by Radico, McDowell's number one, which is by UNSP, and they are the market leader. And third is the OC Blue, which is by ABD. So I think in terms of potential impact, it could work either ways for a UNSP. If some local players comes in, and if they try to undercut in terms of pricing, or if they kind of try to compete very aggressively in terms of BTL spends, you could see a negative impact for McDowell's and UNSP. But if there is some MNC company coming in, and if they're not able to scale up, if things don't work out, and if this 20 million cases rather becomes 15 million cases, then that could be a very big positive for UNSP in that matter. So we have to wait and watch in terms of who actually ends up buying it, and what do they actually do with this kind of a thing.
Point taken. Talking about UNSP, of course, the global CEO of Diageo, Deborah Crew, gave an interview to one of the publications, and she was talking about how India is the biggest growth priority right now, and she said that Indian market now is 50% bigger compared to 3 years ago itself. So clearly, the premiumization is working out. But Karan, if you had to give stock recommendations within the industry, what's your pecking order?
So I think in terms of pecking order, we continue to like Radico Khaitan. Remains to be our top pick, and we have buy recommendation the stock with a target price of 2,000. The other two picks, are United Breweries, which we have an accumulated stance, and we have a target price of 2,120 there. And United Spirits, we have a reduced rating, target price of 1,400. But all these companies are subject to multiple triggers. First being Andhra Pradesh state opening up anytime soon, that could lead to a revamp in terms of earnings upgrade of 6 to 8%. Second is the spirit companies could also see a positive impact because of this Karnataka revision that we have seen in terms of the luxury segment, the prices coming down. So that's the second thing. Third is, Telangana price hike, which are again into conversations, which could also have a positive impact, for all these companies. So there's a potential upgrade of anywhere between 8 to 15%, for all these companies. So currently, if you look at the valuations, they appear to be fair. But even after this upgrade, I think Radico Khaitan will see a good 10-15% upside from current levels potentially if these triggers do play out, and so will United Breweries Limited from here on.
Really pans out. Thanks so much, Karan, for making time and speaking with us today about the entire Alcobev industry. But I also wanted to.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.